wiped out, but you know what I mean. You just don't know what happened, but you know something's going on, so be more aware. And just I told myself I'm a cat with more than 9 lives. And because that God doesn't put an expiration date on the bottom of our feet, we are part of the universe. And we've been selected to be aware and share the information that she has given because we've come so far. And I'm glad, and I really applaud all that you do and all that Frankie does and everybody, because I can't keep up with it.
Now, Frankie does a bang-up job. Yes?
After I had my multiple shocking experience, I woke up one night, a week or so later, from shock. Got up, called my doctor, sent them the information via my monitor, and they said, well, come down to the office. They read my device, said, you didn't have a shock. That is not unusual for people who have been shocked to dream that they've been shocked.
So that's the other side. So you can, and that, thank you, I was going to say that. So you can definitely have a shock without maybe knowing. And you can also think you've had a shock and not really have it. Okay? It's kind of called phantom shock. Kind of like phantom shock. So some people who have amputations will sometimes still feel kind of that limb that they no longer have. It's this same, they kind of put it in the same, yeah?
So you said from a psychological point of view, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
The mind, I guess?
Yeah.
General.
So you want to build endurance and strength, right? We're going back to our training plan. How do you do that? You've got your social support, you've got your Lance Armstrong team, you've now gathered information, you've set goals, you're planned and prepared, you've got your shock plan, everyone around you knows what to do. And now you want to continue practicing your coping skills, the things that you do anyways. You're making incremental changes. No one's going to go run out 26.2 miles in one day, right? They start with 1 mile, 2 miles, and keep going up. And then, of course, you need to pace yourself. So that also means you want to push yourself, right? But you also need to know when your body needs a rest. So there's that balance. You know, a lot of times people have a good day and they'll do everything under the sun, and then the next day they're going to be wiped out. Anyone ever have that happen? Right, so the whole key is to string many good days together instead of having a good day and then a crash, a good day and then a crash. And so sometimes that means even when you're having a good day and feeling like you can keep going, saying, you know what, I've done enough, I'll do the rest tomorrow, and that way you wake up tomorrow and you still feel good to do those things. Pace yourself. Getting really down to like the literal running, we want, you know, physical activity is so helpful. It's a great coping skill. It's great for your heart. And unless your doctor has specifically told you you cannot exercise, there's no reason for you not to be physically active. Okay? There are some conditions where it's probably not a good idea to exercise. You would know that if that was you. Okay? So physical activity, it's good. It gets your blood flowing, get your, you know, those happy emotions, those happy hormones going. It is safe for you. Helga would like me to mention at this point, even though I have nothing else to say about it, is that going with It's Safe for You, I just finished a grant for patients with ICDs and looking at exercise, and they all did just fine. No one was hurt. No one had any events. In fact, in a study that we're currently recruiting patients supposed to be a healthy sample, they had more positive stress tests than my ICD patients had.
Wow.
So, there's also this huge national registry that says, hey, we know people with ICDs are exercising and they're engaging in competitive sports, and we don't really know much about it, so we're going to collect information on it. 75% are competing. They're not just doing, they're competing. 40% of those have had shocks, and they just accept that that's part of it. They want to do these things, and having a shock is just kind of this sidebar. Pretty cool, huh? All right, so I think I need to probably wrap up. So I'm guessing. The reason why this is important, of course I want you all to be happy and feel peaceful and satisfied with life, because that's what you want to, right? But it's not only important just for your emotional well-being, and like I said, it's important for your physical health, your cardiac health. I've kind of spoken of these things. Sometimes when you feel fearful and stressed and depressed, you don't do maybe all that's good for you. And so there can be some indirect consequences on your health because you're not doing those activities. But we also know that, now it's not a causal connection, but we've seen that people who have these intense negative emotions can actually trigger some of these cardiac events. Okay? Again, these are with people who have this susceptibility to the arrhythmia, who have, an underlying cardiac condition. So anger has been associated with some arrhythmias and stuff like that. And so it's just to bring your attention that there are some things that you can do that might help minimize, again, I'm not saying it causes, but there are additional reasons for stress management and ways to kind of monitor and balance your emotional reactions. I already talked about that. On the flip side, we know that positive emotion and increasing your all those good things, joy and peace and optimism and pursuing your values, all of these things also reduce risk. So can promote recovery, slows down progression of disease. It might get you out of the hospital a little bit sooner. Helps you from recovery and just general well-being improvement. And mortality. There's actual links to mortality. So if you're feeling stressed, depressed, anxious, fearful, any of these not so good negative emotions, there are ways that if you all those things that we've talked about, if you're still struggling to pick your spirits up, to kind of turn that corner and do things, seeking professional help from a behavioral provider, psychologist, counselor, whatever, has beneficial effects for you, again, on your physical health, your mental health, your physical fitness. Cardiac rehab is a great model to show, you've got the diet, you've got the nutrition, you've got the counseling, and you've got the exercise, and all those social interaction. And the social interaction, that's right. And so it's just kind of just everything put together, and so that's always a good opportunity. So, if you're struggling, if you notice that your mood is changing, your temperament is changing, your patience with people is changing, I call it low people tolerance. Has anyone ever had low Was that a question, or low people tolerance? Yeah. If you notice your sleep is changing, you're not sleeping, you're sleeping all the time, your appetite, you feel like you have to force yourself to eat, or you suddenly are gaining weight because you're eating all the time. Just again, try to start looking for, maybe some professional help. Doesn't mean you need a lot of help, maybe just a few sessions to add some tools to your toolbox. Again, this is no plug, but there are some of these resources on various websites. I know all of the device companies have great patient education websites. Sudden Cardiac Arrest Association has a pretty good, and they're still building a psychosocial piece with may have links to kind of mental health providers in different areas. So it's getting more knowledgeable with people who, but you don't need someone who's necessarily like me in the sense of exactly an expert of what you're going through. You just need someone to help you kind of turn that corner. Because it's your race, and we want you to run your race and cross that finish line for whatever your life you're pursuing in your life.
I would be curious to know if there are any of us in here that have a device that have not experienced a cardiac event.
You get a shock or just an event?
An event.
Primary prevention.
Yeah.
You have a
And so
device.
how did the professionals say to you, what criteria did they use to say, well, you need to have this?
There are certain criteria that, you use for a prevention